Hey guys, my name is Millie and I am working as a UX designer at a company called Haiku here in Gothenburg. I'm currently working as a consultant at Västtrafik, which is a public transportation company here in Gothenburg and in the region of Västra Götaland. And I got the honor from ProAgile to be part of this Christmas calendar. They asked me if I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the Agile method combined with UX, specifically talking about Lean UX. So Lean UX emerged as a way of working with UX in a very agile process. It focuses a lot on reducing waste, trying to be more efficient, and specifically making the design process in a corporate environment more efficient. So a basic way of describing Lean UX is that we try to do less work, but instead we do it more often. So that sounds really lazy, but I'm going to describe what I mean by that. So what we do when we work Agile and we work with Lean UX is we work a lot with something called MVP. MVP stands for Minimum Viable Product. And in an everyday description, that would be more like, hey, is this good enough? Is this design or this functionality, is it good enough to release to our customers? So what we do is we sit down as a team, we define the problem, and we create this big picture. So we have this long-term scenario, and I'm going to use, I thought I was going to use my own project as an example of this to make it more hands-on for you guys. So at the moment we are trying to redesign the experience of planning a trip on the website. We have gotten a lot of feedback from customers. We get tons of feedback on the website every day, and we can see different trends. We can see that the customers aren't really happy with the experience of planning a trip today. So what we do is we sit down as a team, we define the problem. So the problem goes back to the user. The user isn't happy. So we have to define what part of the trip planning they are not satisfied with. So what we do is we have this big picture. We have a problem we have to solve. And in order to work in a lean way or in an agile way, we break the big picture down into smaller, more like tangible parts. And then in the beginning, we focus on the MVP. So the main goal of coming onto the travel planner is to plan a trip from A to B. You might want to put in a specific address, a specific bus stop, and a specific day, a specific time. So that's our MVP. And once the user put in this information, they expect to get a result. That's like the basic expectation of the travel planner. So what we do then is I start working on the concept, I sketch a lot, I do a lot of wireframes, but the difference with Lean UX is I don't just do my part, hand it over to my designer, who in his turn leaves it to our developers, who release to our customers. Instead, it's a really iterative process. We evaluate our sketches, we evaluate our designs, even when we're in the development process, we work as a team together. I work with the developers because you always find new ideas. So during this process, designing and sketching, it's really important to remember the team as a whole, because even though I'm in charge of the experience and this part of the process, my colleagues and my teammates always have really good perspectives and really good ideas on improvements. And it's really important to see this as an iterative design circle. So what we do is we start designing, we evaluate, we do improvements, we iterate, we evaluate, and that's a continuous flow of work all the way down to the last testing part before we release to our customers. So what we do is we release the MVP part to our users, they're using it, and then we keep track of their feedback. While doing that, we start on the next part. So it's always a continuous flow of like new concepts, new ideas, and then it can change along the way depending on what the users actually give us, what feedback they give us. So what we have to do is remember that once we release the part, it doesn't just like go out in the universe and solve every problem in the world. Like, we still have to keep track of what the users say. Humans are reluctant to change. Like, that's just the way we are. We don't like change. Some people are more, flexible to change. They're more open for change. But by nature, we are not really positive about change. So if you work more in a waterfall method in a project, you do the entire project and release it at the end. It could take months. It could take years sometimes. The risk with doing that is we shock the customer. If they are used to having a specific experience going on the website, all of a sudden everything has changed. We give the users a feeling of being incompetent because they don't know where to find different information, and it all ends up being like too big of a change. And what will happen is you will get mostly negative feedback from the customer. So the pro of working with Lean UX is we release smaller parts of functionality more often. So what happens is the user, they get to test like a very specific part. They can give us feedback that is more, it's put in a context. It's not just like, okay, everything sucks. When you work like this, it's more feedback of the nature being like, hey, I really like the new design. It's more intuitive, easier to find the information I'm looking for. But it would be really cool, seeing my trip on a map. So that's more like constructive feedback. It gives us something to work on. And then we continuously give the users new functionality. It doesn't come as a shock. And they can give us more specific feedback. And it helps us to improve meeting their goals and their needs, and altogether creating a much better experience for our users. Since Lean UX focuses so much less on documentation, we try to be more like take rapid decisions, fast improvements. We have to be flexible. We have to adjust to changes in our environment. It could be organizational change or user feedback. We have much less time, or it's much easier to forget to document the different steps of the way. So working with Lean UX, you have to be, I would say, flexible, and you have to have a very flexible process, a way of working, and your team as a whole has to trust each other and be flexible in the way we work. Before we release to our customers or our users, we do a testing together to ensure that the deliverable is of good quality. And the problem can be when we're testing something we've been working on for a week or two, and we've made all these rapid decisions along the way, forgetting to document sometimes. It can be really hard to track the different changes we've done along the way and what we're actually testing. Something I think a lot about is how do we make the smaller improvements? How do we do just enough work, just enough documentation to test the right thing in order to release it to our customers, but not losing track of the bigger picture. So in the end, it's always about the customer. It's always about their experience and how can we improve it so they are satisfied when they leave the website. If you're working Agile, you are working with Lean UX, great. Try to define what it is that you do as an individual or as a team that helps you work efficiently with Lean UX. And if you are, on the other hand, stuck in the old way of working, you want to move towards the Agile way, working with Lean UX, try to find one or two improvements per individual on what you could do as a team or as an individual to help improve the way you work. So thank you guys for listening. I hope it was interesting for you guys, and I'm really happy I could join in the ProAgile Christmas calendar. I hope you have a great day so far and the rest of the day, and of course, Merry Christmas to you guys and a Happy New Year.